Think about this for a moment. It is a Wednesday morning. Just like every other first of the month, the first thing you do is check your bank account on your phone. Your Social Security deposit is always there on time. You count on it. But today, when you open the app, something is wrong. Instead of the $1,900 you were expecting, you see $950. You look at it again, you close the app and reopen it. The number does not change. Your mind starts racing. Did the bank make an error? Did Social Security send the wrong amount? Could someone have gotten into your account? And then it hits you. There was a letter that came last month, an official envelope with the Social Security Administration's return address. You left it on the kitchen counter. You were going to open it, but it looked routine, the way government mail always does, and you were exhausted that day, and you figured you would get to it when you had more time. That envelope was not routine correspondence. That envelope contained a 30-day deadline, and that deadline has now passed. I am Georgia. I am a senior policy analyst, and I have dedicated many years to helping retired Americans make sense of the rules that control their Social Security benefits, and specifically, how to safeguard those benefits when the agency sends a notice that most recipients do not fully understand when they first read it. In this video, I am going to explain precisely what an SSA overpayment notice is, what the government is legally permitted to do when you do not respond within the required time frame, and the 3 specific steps you can take right now to protect your full monthly payment while your situation is under review. Please stay with me through to the end of this video. There is one particular mistake, one single choice that seems harmless in the moment, that thousands of seniors make every year after receiving one of these notices. The result of that choice is watching half of their monthly income vanish without receiving any further warning. My goal today is to make sure you are never put in that position. I want to share the story of a man named Walter with you. Walter is 72 years old and lives in North Carolina. He put in 35 years on a manufacturing floor before retiring at age 67. Since then, he has been living entirely on his Social Security retirement payment of $1,150 each month. That money handles his mortgage payment, his utility bills, and his prescription costs. It is a tight budget, but Walter makes it work. In the autumn of 2025, a letter arrived from the Social Security Administration. The letter stated that Walter had received $6,800 more than he was entitled to over the previous 3 years. SSA's explanation was that Walter had earned a small amount of income from repair work he had done for a neighbor, just a few $100s, and that this income had never been reported to the agency. Walter was genuinely confused. He had not considered that kind of informal, small-scale work to be something that required reporting. He had not been trying to hide anything. He simply had not known. The letter laid out 4 possible responses: repay the full balance, file an appeal, request a waiver, or ask for a reduced repayment rate, and it gave him 30 days to do one of them. Walter sat with the letter and felt a wave of anxiety. He knew he needed guidance. He told himself he would contact Social Security the following week, once he had a chance to rest and collect his thoughts. He set the letter on the counter. A week went by, then 2, then 4. The 30-day deadline passed without a response. When the next month came, his deposit appeared, but it was $875 instead of $1,750. Half of his monthly income was gone. No second notice had been sent. No one had called. No additional warning had been issued. The automatic 50% withholding had gone into effect exactly as the original letter had stated it would, because Walter had not replied in time. Walter called Social Security the same day the reduced deposit appeared. A representative confirmed that the withholding was now active and would remain in place until the $6,800 balance was cleared. The representative also told him he could still file a waiver, but that the reduced payments would continue during the review period unless he specifically qualified for a pause. Walter is a thoughtful and responsible person. He is not someone who takes his finances lightly. He was overwhelmed by a complicated notice he did not fully understand, and the window he needed to act within quietly closed while he was waiting to feel ready. Do not find yourself in Walter's situation. Let me walk you through the facts now. Every piece of information I am about to share comes directly from SSA.gov, official SSA policy documents, and SSA's own emergency message issued in April 2025. These are not estimates or interpretations. These are government-published figures and rules. Fact 1. What an SSA overpayment actually means. According to SSA.gov, an overpayment is what happens when the Social Security Administration sends someone more money than they were actually eligible to receive. SSA explains that overpayments can be triggered by changes in your income, your employment situation, your living arrangements, your marital status, or by information in your file that was missing or inaccurate. Here is the point that matters most. SSA's own March 2025 press release confirms that once an overpayment is identified, the agency is required under federal law to pursue repayment. This is not a matter of SSA choosing to take action. It is a legal obligation the agency cannot set aside on its own. It does not matter whether the error originated with SSA or with you. Once the determination is made, the obligation to recover the funds exists. The only way to alter that outcome is to take a formal, official action and to take it within the required window. Fact 2. The 30-day window and the 50% withholding rule. This is the rule that reliably catches seniors off guard. Per SSA.gov's currently published guidance, if you receive an overpayment notice and you take no action within 30 days, meaning you do not repay the balance, file an appeal, submit a waiver request, or ask for a lower recovery rate, SSA will automatically reduce your monthly Social Security payment by 50% and continue doing so until the full overpayment is recovered. SSA's April 2025 emergency message, designated EM 25029, confirms this explicitly. It states that new overpayment notices for Title II benefits carry a default withholding rate of 50% of the monthly benefit. Title II covers the regular Social Security programs, retirement benefits, survivor benefits, family benefits, and SSDI. These are the programs the majority of retirees rely on. The rules are different for SSI, supplemental security income. That same emergency message confirms that SSI overpayment recovery continues at a rate of 10%, not 50%. To be completely clear, if you receive standard Social Security retirement benefits and you do not respond to an overpayment notice within 30 days, your monthly check can be cut in half automatically with no additional notice required. This is not a proposed change or a future threat. This is the current active policy as it stands today. Fact 3. 3 separate legal options that are not interchangeable. SSA provides 3 distinct official responses when you receive an overpayment notice. Many seniors are only aware of one option. Many others know 2 exist but treat them as though they are the same thing. They are not. Each one applies to a different situation, and selecting the wrong one, or selecting none at all, can have very different consequences. The first option is an appeal. This is formally called a request for reconsideration and is submitted on Form SSA 561. You would use this option when you believe SSA has made an error, either that no overpayment took place or that the amount being claimed is higher than it should be. Filing this form is a formal challenge to SSA's conclusion. The second option is a waiver. This is submitted on Form SSA 632-BK, the request for waiver of overpayment recovery. You would use this option when you are not challenging whether an overpayment occurred, but you believe you were not at fault for the error, and that being required to repay the money would cause genuine financial hardship or would be unjust. If SSA approves the waiver, the debt is eliminated and you owe nothing. The third option is a request for a lower recovery rate. This is submitted on Form SSA 634. You would use this option when you accept that you owe the overpayment balance but cannot sustain a 50% reduction in your monthly benefit. SSA can approve a lower monthly recovery amount that does not push you into financial distress. SSA's own internal policy, specifically POMS GN 02201.009, states that your overpayment notice is required to explain all of these rights, including the right to appeal, the right to request a waiver, and the right to ask for a different recovery rate. If your letter did not present these options clearly, the rights still apply to you. You simply need to know they exist and take the initiative to use them. Fact 4. The protection that pauses withholding during the review process. This is the single most important fact in this entire video. And it is the fact that Walter did not have when he needed it most. Per SSA.gov, if you file an appeal or submit a waiver request within 30 days of the date on the overpayment notice, SSA will not move forward with collection while your request is under review. That means your benefit remains at its full amount throughout the entire review period. The 50% withholding is suspended. SSA works through your case and issues a decision, and only at that point, if your request is denied, does recovery resume. SSA's own form documentation supports this directly. It states that SSA will halt overpayment recovery until a determination on the submitted request has been reached. But this protection is conditional. It is only available if you act within those 30 days. Once that window closes with no response on file, withholding activates automatically. At that stage, you are no longer in a position to stop the reduction before it happens. You are trying to undo something that is already underway, and that is a significantly more difficult and stressful situation to navigate. Fact 5. What happens if you are no longer receiving benefits? This section is particularly important for people who have already stopped collecting Social Security, and also for family members who are supporting someone whose health may be declining. Per SSA.gov, if you are no longer an active Social Security recipient and SSA identifies an overpayment from when you were receiving benefits, the agency is still authorized to recover what it is owed. The methods available to SSA in this situation include withholding your federal income tax refund, intercepting certain state-level payments you are owed, and garnishing your wages if you remain part of the workforce. And there is one additional fact that every family needs to hear directly. Per SSA.gov, if a person dies before an overpayment on their record has been completely recovered, SSA may pursue the remaining balance from individuals who receive benefits connected to that person's record. This could affect a surviving spouse receiving survivor benefits or a dependent who relies on family benefits connected to the deceased. These individuals had no involvement in the original overpayment, but the financial consequences can still reach them. This is not a remote possibility. It is SSA's stated official policy. If someone in your family has received an overpayment notice and their health is a concern, please treat that notice as a priority for the whole family, not just that one individual. Fact 6. What happens if a waiver request is denied? There is one final piece of information that frequently catches seniors by surprise, and I want to make sure you understand it before you go through this process. Per SSA's formal legal guidance, documented in HALEX, the agency's official operational reference, if SSA denies your waiver request, recovery of the overpayment balance can begin or continue even if you decide to appeal that denial. Put plainly, a denied waiver does not automatically restart the pause on withholding. If your waiver is turned down and you appeal that outcome, the collection process can move forward at the same time. Filing a waiver is still absolutely the right move when your circumstances qualify for it. There is no reason to avoid filing one. But it is important that you go into the process with a realistic picture of what happens next if the outcome does not go in your favor, so you are prepared rather than blindsided. 3 steps. Write them down as I go through them. Step 1. Open the notice. The same day it arrives and establish your deadline. If you have an SSA overpayment notice anywhere in your home right now, set everything else aside and open it today. Not this weekend, today. Read it from beginning to end. Then locate the date printed on the letter and count forward exactly 30 days. That date is your deadline. Write it on a piece of paper and stick it somewhere you cannot miss it. Your refrigerator door, your bathroom mirror, wherever you will see it every morning. Set a reminder on your phone. Once you have the deadline established, focus on understanding the substance of the claim. What amount is SSA saying you owe? What reason does the letter give for the overpayment? Do you agree with the claim, or do you believe the amount is incorrect? Your answer to that last question is what determines which of the 3 forms you need to file. If anything about the letter is confusing or unclear, do not sit with the confusion. Call SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213. The line is staffed Monday through Friday during normal business hours. Alternatively, you can walk into your nearest Social Security office in person and ask a staff member to help you interpret the notice before you decide how to respond. Remember what happened to Walter. The complexity of the notice made him want to wait until he felt more prepared. That wait cost him months of half income. Do not let the difficulty of the letter become a reason to delay. Step 2. Select the form that matches your specific situation and submit it before the deadline. Once you understand what SSA is claiming and where you stand, choose the response that fits. If you believe SSA has made an error, either that the overpayment did not happen or that the claimed amount is too high, submit Form SSA 561, the request for reconsideration. This is how you formally appeal the decision and put SSA's conclusion under official review. If you are not challenging whether an overpayment occurred, but you believe you are not at fault and that being required to repay it would cause real financial hardship, submit Form SSA 632BK, the request for waiver of overpayment recovery. This is the most powerful protection available, and the only path that could result in the debt being forgiven entirely. If you accept that you owe the balance, but you genuinely cannot afford to absorb a 50% reduction in your monthly check, submit Form SSA 634, the request for change in overpayment recovery rate. This brings the monthly deduction down to a level that your budget can manage. All 3 forms are available at no cost on ssa.gov. Paper versions can also be obtained at any local Social Security office. Submitting the appropriate form within those 30 days is what activates the collection pause and keeps your full benefit protected during the review. Once that window closes, the pause is no longer available. Step 3. Build a paper record from day 1 and verify that your submission was received. The moment you file any form with SSA, your next step is to protect the record of that action. Before mailing anything, make a complete photocopy of the form and store it somewhere secure. When you send the form, use certified mail and request a return receipt. The delivery confirmation card that is mailed back to you serves as official documentation of the exact date SSA received your submission. That date is critical evidence if any question ever arises about whether you responded within the 30-day window. For every phone interaction with SSA, keep a written log. Note the date, the time, the full name or employee ID of the representative, and a brief summary of what was communicated. These notes can be invaluable if your case is ever disputed or escalated. Approximately 2 weeks after filing your form, call SSA to confirm that your request has been received and entered into the system. Do not assume the process is moving forward simply because you mailed the paperwork. Get verbal confirmation and log that call as well. Building this paper trail takes very little time, but provides protection that can mean the difference between a case that resolves cleanly and one that drags on for months because of a documentation dispute. Let me say this one more time before we move on. If an SSA overpayment notice has come your way, You have genuine rights. You have official forms. You have legal protections that are built into the system specifically to help you, but not a single one of those protections activates on its own. Every one of them requires you to respond within 30 days. Walter had access to every one of those same protections. He simply did not use them before the window closed. You have the information he did not have. Use it. Before we finish today, I want to say something plainly because it matters. YouTube is not a dependable system for tracking changes to your government benefits. The platform uses an algorithm that controls which videos appear in your recommendations and when. When a policy shifts, a new SSA overpayment rule, a Medicare coverage deadline, an update to pension tax guidelines, the video covering that change may not reach your feed until days or even weeks after the effective date has already passed. When a 30-day response window is part of the equation, that kind of delay is not a minor inconvenience. It can cost you months of income. That is the exact problem the Global Senior Alerts official WhatsApp channel was designed to address. When you join through the link in the video description, alerts are sent directly to your phone in real time. No algorithm standing between you and the information. You will receive timely updates about changes to Social Security rules, Medicare coverage, pension regulations, bank account policies, insurance deadlines, and travel regulations that specifically affect seniors. Every person who joins right now can also download our free Senior Benefits Protection Guide at no cost. This guide is written in plain, accessible language and covers your rights in overpayment situations, Medicare plan termination protections, SSI-specific rules, and considerably more. Print a copy and keep it with your other important documents. Give one to your adult children or to whoever helps you manage your benefits. The link is waiting in the description below. Click it, join the channel, and get the guide today. And if today's video gave you information that you did not have before, please share it with at least one person in your life who depends on Social Security. There may already be someone in your circle who received an overpayment notice, set it aside meaning to deal with it later, and does not yet realize how little time they may have left to protect themselves. Sharing this video could be what prompts them to act before the window closes. I am Georgia. Thank you sincerely for watching. Please take good care of yourself and stay protected.